There are mortgage origination standards, and these standards are there to maintain a certain level of mortgages quality. Because if the mortgage quality goes poor, then we can easily figure out that either the default rate is going to be high, A, and B, when the default rate is high, then CMSC will be for more of those defaults because they're insured. So the mortgage origination quality is in the interest of the CMC as well as the other two mortgage insurers. There are various parties in a mortgage, starting with applicant, which are basically the borrowers, co-applicant, and guarantors. All of them are basically clubbed into the applicant category. And then there are mortgage default insurer there, which includes Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, Genworth, and Canada Guarantee. Insurers refers to both mortgage default insurers and title insurers. Title insurers, yeah, there are title insurers as well, which basically covers the legal expenses to perfect the title, as well as associated expenses for providing the non-title issues, addressing the non-title issues. Introducers are the external suppliers such as deposit brokers, mortgage brokers, correspondents, or other reference sources who gather new businesses for financial information or financial institutions. And then there is a whole set of underwriters. So the underwriters are the individuals which are employed by the lenders or insurers who are responsible for verifying the application information and supporting documentation, making an assessment of risk for both the applicant and the property, and approving and declining the mortgage loan. Now, aside from the above parties, the another party which I want to just celebrate that the title insurers provide the insurance policies that protect policyholders against losses related to the defect in the title. Next thing I want to talk about the lender documentation. These are the application and all the supporting documentation provided by the originator to the lender. So, where possible, supporting documentation are provided to the lender in one package form. But it could be split. Multiple packages can also be served to the lender. Lenders are the individuals or institutions who are responsible for underwriting the mortgage, funding the mortgage, and in some cases, administering the mortgage loan. Lender employee or the originator who is employed by a lender for the purpose of accepting, completing, and submitting mortgage loan applications. Loan file is a file which is written by the originator containing the application and all supporting documentation. The documentation may include the credit report, the income confirmation documentation, the down payment confirmation document in the form of a GIC certificate, MLS or private sale, property details, offer to purchase, property tax assessment or bill identification, attestation. Notes and other documentation regarding the transactions are also part of the loan file. Loan file is retained by the originator for no less than 7 years or the minimum period required by the provincial administrator. Canada is 6 years past the date of maturity and must be made available to the lender upon request. File for loans that are not funded should be kept for a minimum of 1 year or longer if required for compliance and administration. Supporting documentation may be stored in a hard copy form or electronically, so they are good. It may be digital inventory. mortgage fraud as well, and any material misstatements, misrepresentation, or omission relied upon by a lender or insurance to underwrite, approve, fund, or insure a mortgage loan is a mortgage fraud. Any material misstatement, representation, or the omission of it. Originators are mortgage professionals engaged in the acceptance, completion, and submission of the mortgage loan applications to an underwriting lender. An originator may be a licensed broker or agent or equivalent term for mortgage licensee or lender employee. Supporting documentations are all the supplementary documentation for the verification of identity, employment, equity, and a property. All supporting documentation should be retained in the loan file. Record particulars of the documentation and retain photocopies of all original documentation viewed. As a general rule, obtain the borrower's written or verbal consent prior to taking or retaining photocopies of supporting documentation. So, what are the information in the application? So, the originator must ensure that the mortgage loan application has been fully completed and does not contain inconsistencies when compared to other documentation such as the credit report. Inconsistencies could be in relation to the borrower's date of birth, income, profession, place, and length of residence, accumulated assets, historical credit utilization, or other material information. Identity inconsistencies. Originators are responsible for noting all inconsistencies on the lender documentation and providing explanation for the inconsistency. Where the application cannot provide a reasonable explanation or a supporting documentation cannot be produced, the mortgage loan application should not be submitted to the lender. So this is the case of consistency. Identifying the referral sources. When submitting a file, advise the lender on the application what the referral source was, indicate if the applicant responded to an online aid, referral form, a past client, or from real estate agent. Red flags for the originator and lender would be again contact, a referral from someone the broker does not know, or a new contact. Suddenly sending many clients the originators quickly. It's important to note that some lenders now require the source of business to be identified as part of the application process. So this is what which is happening. Maintaining a loan file. Originator must maintain a separate file for each mortgage loan application. The file contains the complete application and all supporting documentation. Record particulars of the documentation or retain photocopies of all original documentation viewed. As a general rule, obtain the borrower's consent prior to taking or retaining a photocopy of the supporting documentation. To assist in fraud prevention, it is suggested that the document is signed by the borrower to ensure authenticity of the documentation. The file must be immediately accessible to the lender upon request. Mortgage loan application. Where the mortgage loan application is completed in the borrower's presence, confirm that the identity of the applicant is the same as that presented in the mortgage loan application and all other documentations. Compare signature on the mortgage application with the identification provided and be alert for any suspicious behavior such as scripted recited answers, recitations, etc.